Hey everybody, Lieutenant Joe here. You know, I ask a question. Do you have a hero? You have a hero? It's a normal thing in the course of our lives. At some point, we have heroes. When I was young, my first hero, of course, was my father. My father was the be all and end all for me. He was the greatest guy in the world, and he was my hero. As I got older, sports stars became my heroes. Over time, as I got even older, got into high school, rock and roll stars were my heroes. Well, in the course of my life as I went on, you start to realize what makes a hero, what's important about a hero, what qualities do they have. And usually it's that they do something extraordinary, that their lives have meaning beyond just being there, right? Being good at sports or playing a guitar or something. So recently, we had a remembrance of the victims of the Sandy Hook school shooting. And remember that tragic event, those children and teachers who were lost at the hands of a deranged individual. Well, when I teach this program about being safe in schools and businesses and churches, I often ask the question, do you have a hero? And as I go on with the story, I recount, first my father was my hero, and then sports players, and then guitar players and all that. And now, as an adult, understanding what a hero really is, I can tell you that my hero is a 6-year-old boy named Jesse Lewis. Jesse was one of the children who were killed in the Sandy Hook school shooting. In the course of that event, the killer came in and started shooting, spraying rounds all over the building. And at some point, he ended up in the classroom where Jesse and a large amount of children were trying to be safe, trying to seek shelter. And they were there with their teacher. And the killer started shooting and killing the children. And at some point, he ran out of ammunition and he had to reload his gun. Now, you got to imagine the sound of a rifle going off out on a range is very, very loud. In a classroom, it must have been deafening and horrifyingly scary to all of those little children. Well, in the middle of all this demon stops shooting and starts to reload his rifle. And in that couple of seconds, when the shooting stopped, little Jesse Lewis got up off the pile of children who were trying to hide, and he pointed at the door and he said, "Run, run, run." And some of those children ran out the door and their lives were saved. When the killer reloaded his weapon, the first thing he did was shoot and kill little Jesse Lewis. Now, in the course of my career as a law enforcement officer, I've been in a lot of dangerous situations, and they've all been scary. And anybody who tells you that they're not scary is lying to you. Chasing somebody with a knife or a gun, very, very scary. But I think about Jesse Lewis, 6 years old, to have the presence of mind that in all of that carnage, the sound of the rifle going off, children being shot, to stand up and say, "Run, run, run," so that other children could get out of that room. That is a hero. And that's why I say, as an adult, understanding what a hero is, an extraordinary person who goes beyond themselves. 6-year-old Jesse Lewis will forever be my hero. And in that moment that Jesse's life was taken, I like to think that the Archangel Michael came down and picked him up and took him off to heaven. A fitting reward for a hero. Could you be a Jesse Lewis? Could you do that? Jesse's my hero.